Chapter 604. Yen Mai's initial confidence had turned into fear and trepidation. His heart had suffered a huge blow. First, he saw the heavily injured god. Then, he met the elder ancestor who he thought had died many years ago. At this moment, he no longer had the intention to stay and investigate. However, just as he was about to leave, he encountered another terrifying scene. The guy standing on the city gate had vaporized thousands of player clansmen in front of him with a single punch. The most terrifying thing was that Yen Mai did not even sense any energy fluctuation from this punch. It also did not hurt the ground or the flowers and grass. This kind of absolute control over power was something Oates had never seen before. At this moment, the guy standing at the city gate suddenly turned his head to look at him. Yen Mai was instantly shocked. Countless ways of dying appeared in his mind. In his mind, the plot had already been arranged. However, Lu Chai, who stood at the city gate, only smiled at him. He did not do anything extreme. At this moment, Yen Mai was terrified. He was not sure if he had been discovered or not. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth and mustered up the courage to walk toward the city gate. Fortunately, the expert on the city gate did not stop him from leaving the city. He only watched him quietly, making Yen Mai's scalp tingle. After leaving the city, Yen Mai continued to walk quickly. When he realized that there was no movement behind him, he could not help but look back. However, he found that the man on the city gate was still smiling at him. Seeing this, Yen Mai hurriedly quickened his pace. After a while, he changed to running and finally flew. Even though he had left the mansion of the dead, his heart was still thumping. Not only was the confidence he had when he first arrived gone, there was even a trace of joy in his heart for surviving a disaster. That scared the hell out of me. At first, he was very curious as to why the player clan dared to provoke the Underworld Chamber of Commerce. Now, he finally understood that the player clan had the guts to do so. If the Underworld Chamber of Commerce did not mobilize its forces in the Central Sea, Yen Mai felt that the Underworld branch in the Devouring Sea would not be able to do anything to the player clan. In a direct confrontation, they would definitely lose. At this moment, he only wanted to return to the clan as soon as possible and report this matter to the clan leader and the clan elders. He did not want to report the information he had obtained directly to the Underworld Chamber of Commerce. After all, if the player clan really wanted to start a war with the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce, it would be extremely unwise to choose a side ahead of time. They might even end up as cannon fodder. Yen Mai sped through the air and arrived at the colored glass sea. Yen Mai jumped into the water, his body twisting as he transformed into his original fishman form and quickly swam to the bottom of the sea. After Yen Mai left, the thousands of players who had been blasted into black mist by the punch came online one after another in front of the mansion of the dead. At this moment, they could not help but burst into laughter. The live chat was in an uproar. "Boss Lu, I'll let you act tough, but you're not going to give us lunchboxes and chicken legs? Boss Lu, I heard that you severely injured the demonic god. That's amazing, ha ha. It's not just the evil god. He's killed a total of 8 deity-level experts. Boss Lu's divine skills are unparalleled and invincible. That's why he's a lunchbox." Breaking the rules of the clan, I trembled and stretched out my hand to ask for a lunchbox. Pitiful. JPG. At that moment, the players had turned into drama queens and were making a ruckus in the live chat channel. Looking down, a smile appeared on Lu Chai's face. In fact, the original plan was exactly like what Crayon Shinchan had said. Oates would enter the city, and then he would be allowed to explore as he pleased. He would be pleasantly surprised, and then he would be left in despair after closing the door. To be honest, Lu Chai did not take a Ghost King-level expert seriously. This was Hell City, but it was no longer the hell of the past. The players here were far more powerful than they used to be. It was impossible for Sun to come and go as he pleased like that time. However, the Sea King's suggestion made them change their strategy. Although they were not afraid of the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce, they would be under immense pressure if they were to start a war with the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce. Right now, the players' focus was still on defeating the corpse race in the Sunluo region. They wanted to stall for as long as they could. According to the Sea King, the scouts from the Underworld Chamber of Commerce had to realize that the player clan was extremely powerful, and then bring back false information. Then, the script expert, Yin Xiaoqi, took action and arranged the development of the plot for the players. That was how Lu Chai's moment of showing off came about. Although it was just an act, Lu Chai still wanted to say that it was King awesome. Sure enough, pretending to be pretentious was pleasurable. As for the chicken drumsticks and bento boxes, the guild needed to develop and they were running out of soul coins. So I can't see anything. 5 days later, on the Phantom Fish Coral Island in the Devouring Sea, Yen Mai, who had sailed at high speed for 5 days without any rest, finally arrived at the clan land. His figure emerged from the water, stepped on the coral reef, and walked toward the island. Seeing his appearance, the Phantom Fish clan children who were playing on the coral reef revealed respectful gazes. They stopped making noise and stood in a row to bow to him. The Phantom Fish clan had strict rules and a clear hierarchy. Facing Yen Mai, who might be the next clan leader, these children dared not neglect him and immediately showed their respect. Seeing this, Yen Mai turned his head and smiled. Then, he quickly walked toward the center of the island. There was a bottomless sea in the center of the coral island. After Yen Mai arrived, he leaped into it and dived toward the depths of the sea. While diving, Yen Mai encountered a few waves of patrolling soldiers from the Phantom Fish clan. However, facing Yen Mai, they all bowed respectfully and did not stop him at all. After diving for about 3,000 meters, a palace made of 5-colored coral appeared in front of Yen Mai. This was also his destination. When he arrived at the front of the coral palace, Yen Mai's expression froze. He looked at the 3 soldiers at the door and said, "Inform the clan leader and all the clan elders that I have something to report. I'm calling for an urgent clan meeting." Upon hearing this, the 3 Illusion Fish clan soldiers hurriedly nodded and immediately dispersed to relay Yen Mai's orders. At this moment, Yen Mai walked into the coral palace. The interior of the palace was luxuriously furnished. Countless treasures from the bottom of the sea that shone with 5-colored flowing lights were scattered in the interior. However, in the eyes of Yen Mai in this era, this small palace was simply a chicken coop compared to the majestic mansion of the dead of the player clan. It was completely incomparable. While waiting, the clan elders and the clan leader quickly rushed over. Their expressions were extremely solemn. Yen Mai, who went to investigate the player clan, did not go to the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce. Instead, he returned to the clan. No matter how he looked at it, something was not right. Soon, the upper echelons of the Phantom Fish clan gathered. Apart from Yen Mai, there were a total of 10 people. They were the clan elders of the 9 major branches of the Phantom Fish clan, as well as the clan's ruler, the clan leader. After everyone arrived, the clan leader, whose body was covered in black fish scales, impatiently asked, "Tell us what happened? Tell us what exactly is going on. Why did you inform us to come here? Could it be that something has happened?" Hearing that, Yen Mai nodded and said, "Clan leader, guess what I saw in the main city of the player clan this time? I'm guessing your ancestor. Hurry up and tell us what happened." The hot-tempered clan leader immediately rebuked. If Yen Mai was not the successor that he personally selected, he might have given him a slap. Keeping people in suspense was the most annoying thing. "Clan leader, you're right. I saw the ancestor in the main city of the player clan." Hearing this, all the clan elders were stunned. Meanwhile, the clan leader rolled up his sleeves and was ready to beat him up. That was terrifying. Tell me about it, the Illusion Fish clan leader said immediately. I have 2 ideas now. First, don't get involved. Take advantage of the fact that the war hasn't broken out to move our tribe away from here and head to the distant seas. This way, we can avoid being affected when the war breaks out. However, there was a huge hidden danger in doing so. If we accept the Underworld Chamber of Commerce's mission and leave without saying goodbye, we will thoroughly offend the Underworld Chamber of Commerce. If the Underworld Chamber of Commerce wins this battle, they will definitely come after us. With their power that covers all the seas, it will be useless for us to hide. So, the premise of my idea is that the player clan wins in the end. Of course, before that, I have to meet with the higher-ups of the player clan. If they are not satisfied, we will simply move away from the nearby seas and get lost. As for the future, let's talk about it later. However, the Illusion Fish clan attached great importance to inheritance and revered their ancestors. Do you think we should report this matter to the Underworld Chamber of Commerce? It was still unknown whether the player clan was strong enough to rival the Underworld Chamber of Commerce. In fact, it was also unknown whether the player clan would challenge the Underworld Chamber of Commerce's position. Everything was just their speculation. In short, if our Illusion Fish clan is destroyed, you, little brat, will be the biggest sinner. Who asked you to make this suggestion? The Illusion Fish clan leader couldn't help but scold. This truth had truly shocked them, and they were unable to extricate themselves for a long time. Just as the elders had said, the Illusion Fish clan attached great importance to inheritance and ancestors. That was how the current Illusion Fish clan came to be. Upon hearing this, the Illusion Fish clan leader glanced at everyone present. In the main city of the player clan, the Empress wasn't the ruler. She was merely living under the player clan's roof. Upon hearing this, Oates had a bitter look on his face. Our Illusion Fish clan fears the Underworld Chamber of Commerce because they are too powerful. Our clan doesn't have the ability to go against them. However, if we have a force that can go against them, we have nothing to fear, one of the elders said. This was the reason why the 9 branches of the Illusion Fish clan were able to unite as one and never split up due to problems with the distribution of benefits. This was because they had the same ancestor and the same bloodline. In fact, he knew very well that these elders weren't confident in their decision. Upon hearing this, the Illusion Fish clan leader and the elders present couldn't help but nod. If their Illusion Fish clan made such a huge decision just because the Empress was with the player clan, it would be a little ridiculous and willful. However, looking at the serious faces of everyone present, he knew that this decision wasn't a joke. It was their true opinion. Although the Illusion Fish clan was extremely cruel during the struggle for supremacy in the sea and had never shown mercy to other clans, the Illusion Fish clan had never shown mercy to other clans. That's all? Don't you have any other ideas? Actually, I have another thought. That is, the Empress is standing with the player clan. Our Illusion Fish clan has always revered our ancestors. When the Nethersea Empress was on the throne, she was cruel, but our Illusion Fish clan is greatly indebted to her. That's why our ancestors are loyal to her. If it weren't for her, our Illusion Fish clan wouldn't be where we are today. This is also the reason why our clan has always worshipped her with the ceremony of worshipping our ancestors. Why aren't you standing with the Underworld Chamber of Commerce? What's your reason? The Illusion Fish clan leader asked immediately. If the Illusion Fish clan was destroyed because of his decision, he would be the sinner of the clan. Upon hearing this, a smile appeared on the Illusion Fish clan leader's face. Clan leader, you're really willful. Sitting at the side, Oatesmy looked at the clan leader and said softly. His words were shocking. Oatesmy's words shocked everyone present. Is that what all of you think? Looking at the 9 elders nodding, the Illusion Fish clan leader was slightly surprised. I've been to the main city of the player clan, so I think the player clan definitely has the strength to fight the Underworld Chamber of Commerce. Most importantly, Facing such a powerful player clan, the Underworld Chamber of Commerce won't be able to compete with the player clan unless they mobilize all their forces in the Central Sea region. However, if the Underworld Chamber of Commerce really does so, they will lose a lot of benefits in the Central Sea region where the top forces are fighting. After all, if the Underworld Chamber of Commerce's strongest force leaves the Central Sea region, the other top forces in the Central Sea region won't sit still. So, the Underworld Chamber of Commerce will definitely have a headache thinking about how to fight the player clan. After leaving the ancestral worship hall, Oatsmy and the others gathered in the palace again. Their expressions were extremely solemn. Hearing this, no one dared to speak their mind. Hearing this, the Illusion Fish clan leader nodded and looked at Oatsmy. After pondering for a while, Oatsmy said, "Little brat, what do you think? You're about to become the clan leader. Tell me your opinion." At this moment, the Illusion Fish clan leader turned to look at Oatsmy. Oats nodded. "I'm just mentioning it. Isn't it up to you to decide the specifics?" Oatsmy argued softly. "It's all because of your suggestion." The Illusion Fish clan leader couldn't help but glare. Hearing this, Xian-mo, who was originally looking relaxed, suddenly stood up, looking very surprised. This Jade Smite planet was a planet with an extreme lack of resources. Logically, no extraterrestrial force would covet it. Therefore, when he heard this, he was very confused. "Master, what should we do?" the disciple asked anxiously again. "Let's go out and take a look." After saying this, Xian-mo immediately turned into a stream of light and rushed out of the palace. When he came out of the palace and saw the scene outside, Xian-mo was instantly dumbfounded. Densely packed humanoid creatures descended from the sky. Their bodies were pitch black, and they had a single horn on their head. They were creatures that he had never seen before. As far as the eye could see, the sky was covered by these figures. For a moment, Xian-mo was stunned. At the same time, a game notification rang in the head of the player who had descended from the sky. Game notification. The form used for this cross-border battle is the Sky Demon form. Cross-border battle reward description. The battle reward for this cross-border battle will be calculated based on the damage done by the player and the number of enemies killed. At the same time, the server ranking reward will be given based on the total battle reward of the server. Hearing the game notification, the players were extremely excited and shouted in the live chat channel. The mission is actually to destroy buildings. 666, I love destroying things the most. Since it's to demolish houses, why is it called Sky Demon? It's better to call it the Husky Army. Ha! The Bakey Army is the best in the world, awoo! 2nd Battalion Commander. Where's the F*King Italian cannon? Blow this place up! Amidst the noise, the players descended. After landing, they did not waste any time and started to destroy decisively. The houses, buildings, and the descendants of the immortals were not spared. Under the horrified gazes of these busy descendants of the immortals, the natural disaster descended and the great destruction began. In just a moment, the 12 districts of this city were filled with the figures of the players. At this moment, the ghouls that emerged from the formation also became the targets of the players' attack. They looked ferocious and terrifying, but they were not a threat to the players. As long as killing them could earn merit, they could beat them up. Seeing this scene, Xian-mo's heart was bleeding. Although the materials used to build this city were provided by the Heaven Realm, he had also put in a lot of effort for it. Studying the modification of the ghouls also consumed a lot of his energy. Now that he saw such destruction, how could he bear it? He immediately rushed toward the players with a roar. At this moment, a figure stood in front of him and blocked his way. This person's body was glowing with a faint golden light. At this moment, he just wanted to tire this bastard to death. He grabbed Xian Mo again without any attitude. Get lost! The furious Xian Mo grabbed Lu Wu and punched his head. Lu Wu was in great pain, but he felt that he could still take it. He refused to let go and was determined to tire this bastard to death. Looking at the unkillable Lu Wu, Xian Mo was about to explode. His fists turned into golden light and fell like raindrops, continuously hammering Lu Wu's body. Lu Wu actually wanted to persevere, but in the end, he still let out a scream. The group of players was speechless. At this moment, they only wanted to say that this NPC was really embarrassing. Compared to E, who could continue to fight even without a head in the previous cross-world battle, and this guy who was obviously very meaty and whose skin was not even broken, but was still screaming, the players could not help but cover their faces. How could the stupid officials send such a shameful thing? Under the attack of the speed of light, Lu Wu's head turned into a phantom, swaying back and forth. That was really painful. However, no matter how fast Xian Mo's fists were, he could not keep up with Lu Wu's Krypton gold recovery. Other than the pain, it was useless to Lu Wu. Feeling that Xian Mo's fists were getting slower and slower, Lu Wu felt that the opportunity to counterattack was coming. At this moment, his expression gradually became ferocious. At this moment, Xian Mo suddenly stopped attacking and smashed Lu Wu into the ground with a heavy punch. Then, with both of his hands facing down, he roared and a huge shockwave of the immortal spell crashed down. Boom! The ground shook violently, and a bottomless pit appeared below. Lu Wu, who was smashed deep into the ground, had already given up struggling and quietly crawled out of the pit. Up until now, he was basically buried in the ground, so he just had to get used to it. Lu Wu comforted himself. At this moment, Xian Mo, who was panting, once again turned his head to look at the devastated city, ready to go and help. Aha! At this moment, Lu Wu leaped out of the deep pit, and with an arrogant face, he pounced at him again and again. Xian Mo immediately pulled a long face, feeling that he was about to have a mental breakdown, but he could only passively face it. At this moment, Lu Wu only had one thought in his mind. You can destroy my body, but you can't defeat my steel-like spirit. Although I can't beat you, I can King exhaust you to death. Lu Sun said that no matter what method it was, as long as it could defeat the opponent, it was a good method. Even if it was embarrassing, Xian Mo's expression turned numb as he faced Lu Wu, who was repeatedly hammered into the ground and recovered to full health and status time after time. Lu Wu pounced at him with a loud aha. Although his methods were extremely cruel, his opponent could not be hurt at all, let alone killed. At this moment, the city was still being destroyed and his heart was bleeding. The spiritual power in his body gradually weakened under such intense consumption, but his opponent was still full of vigor. Xian Mo no longer knew how to continue fighting. Little Bei Li's 18 moves, strangle throat. Looking at Xian Mo, who was getting slower and slower, Lu Wu finally seized the opportunity. Suddenly, he pounced on Xian Mo, skillfully moved to his back, and strangled his neck. He used to think that Little Bei Li's move was extremely lethal. Now that he was using it, Lu Wu could only describe it as delicious. Looking at Xian Mo, whose resistance was not as strong as his, Lu Wu sentenced him to death. Roar! At this moment, Xian Mo's eyes were bloodshot, and he struggled with all his might. Roar your ass! Lu Wu immediately smashed his head on the back of Xian Mo's head. This was also the headhammer strike that he learned from little Bailey. Let go! Bam! Lu Wu smashed his head on the back of Xian Mo's head again. Bam! 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 Lu Wu continuously shook his head, using his head as a hammer. He used the method of exchanging injury for injury, attacking Xian Mo both physically and mentally. The players who witnessed this scene were all dumbfounded. This NPC is Cruel Destroyer, looks like he's going to win. It's undoubtedly the way children fight. My brother fought with someone like this yesterday, I saw it with my own eyes. Covering face. That's awesome, he can actually fight back after enduring an hour of violent beating. This NPC's health must be huge. The players who witnessed this scene could not help but laugh. Although they were on the battlefield, they could not help but laugh. Facing Lu Wu's headhammer that was like a pile driver, Xian Mo was dizzy, and his heart was filled with grief and indignation. Roar! Eat my hammer! Lu Wu shouted as he violently swung his head again. At this moment, Xian Mo's body suddenly shone with a golden light. He released all the spiritual power that he had just recovered and sent Lu Wu flying. Then, he turned around and swung his fist at Lu Wu. The fist mark formed by the spiritual power brought Lu Wu to the ground. Boom! With a loud bang, Lu Wu returned to the pitch-black depths of the underground. However, Lu Wu was very calm and skillfully began to climb out of the pit. This guy won't be able to struggle for long, I'm going to win. However, when he climbed out of the deep pit, he found that Xian Mo was surrounded by nearly 100 people in the sky. They were the wall players from each server, and now they had finally made their move. Brother, have a cigarette. You've worked hard, don't go and embarrass yourself. At this moment, a voice came from the side. Lu Wu turned his head and saw that it was the dog beside him. At this moment, he extended his paw and handed him a cigarette. Stunned, he took the cigarette and lit it with the help of the dog. In the last 10 minutes, the direction of the battle between the servers changed. The players from the servers who did not get much resources suddenly changed their direction and began to beat the weakest non-server players. This is what you get for being so arrogant. This is what you get for being pretentious. This is what you get for scolding me. This is what you get for scolding the heavens, the earth, and the air. Stupid C***T. Come over here and get beaten up. Therefore, the previously arrogant non-server players began to flee like rats. At this moment, they were a little confused. They said that you guys could fight and we could do whatever we wanted. How did it turn into the 4 servers beating the weakest non-server players? Inhumane. When we become stronger, all of you will die. I will remember this grudge in the end. While the players from the 5 servers were cursing and swearing, a game notification appeared and they were sent back to their respective regions. Lu Wu also returned to the human world through teleportation. At the same time, he took away all the resources deep under the planet. His terrible mood suddenly became very good. Although this time's pretentious attempt was a failure, Lil Bailey had said before he came that everyone has their first time. Lu Wu comforted himself like this. After bringing the artifact back to the 3 realms and connecting it to Lil Bailey's subspace, Lil Bailey's figure slowly appeared in the artifact. Seeing that Lu Wu had returned, Lil Bailey suddenly squinted her eyes and smiled. Big Meat Shield, you're back. Lu Wu was confused. Chapter 612. Kuelong Ocean, Xin-Mo Island. Other than occupying a huge area, this island that had no distinctive features had now become the central area of the Kuelong Ocean. The creator of all of this was the Sea King. He consolidated the power of the 7 nations with an iron fist and rose step by step with his own hard work. Until now, although the Sea King didn't have a real name, he was recognized as the overlord of the Kuelong Ocean. At this moment, the Sea King was dressed in a long blue robe. He stood at the top of the building in the center of the island, gazing at the hazy moon with a slight frown. Recently, he received a piece of news. The president of the Smoke Dragon Merchant Guild, Smoke Dragon, had awakened and replaced the already destroyed Sharkbite Merchant Guild, becoming the new War Merchant Guild. When the Sea King heard this news, he knew that trouble was coming for him. Back then, he was able to obtain a place in the War Chamber of Commerce by stepping on the Smoke Dragon Chamber of Commerce. However, he did not expect that the Smoke Dragon Chamber of Commerce would take back what belonged to him because he joined forces with the Player Clan to overthrow the Sharkbite fleet. He had already formed a grudge with the Smoke Dragon Chamber of Commerce. This was not good news for him. There was no room for reconciliation between them. As long as there was a chance, the Smoke Dragon Chamber of Commerce would definitely hit him while he was down. Similarly, the Sea King would do the same. If Elder Ing of the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce had not been present at that time, he would not have let the Smoke Dragon brothers leave so easily. He would have killed them. However, the Sea King did not expect the Smoke Dragon Chamber of Commerce to return so quickly, which caught him off guard. Although he was worried about the future changes in the situation, he was not afraid of the challenge from the Smoke Dragon Chamber of Commerce. This was because he was no longer the person that the Smoke Dragon could recruit with just a word. His Mu-Tai-Si nation was no longer the force that could not gain a foothold in the Kuelong Ocean. Even Langia Island had to lower their heads and pay him resources regularly, which was equivalent to acknowledging his position as the overlord. After obtaining the batch of ice fire stones, the Sea King did not hesitate to put all of them to use. He built 20 specially made Spectre warships, tens of thousands of high-quality weapons, and tens of thousands of sets of equipment. The power of the Mu-Tai-Si nation grew rapidly after that. Therefore, the Sea King was very confident in facing the upcoming challenge from the Smoke Dragon Trade Association. However, there was something else that the Sea King could not see through recently. That was the Netherworld Merchant Guild's attitude towards the Player Clan. On the surface of the ocean, there were dense white lines breaking through the waves, forming a giant wave horizontally. Under the water, hundreds of thousands of Illusion Fish clan members were fully armed, holding sharp steel spikes in their hands as they attacked in a mighty manner. The one leading this Illusion Fish army was Yen Mai, who was about to become the clan leader of the Illusion Fish clan. A few days ago, after the Illusion Fish clan made the decision to join the Player Clan, their original clan land was emptied within a few days. Now, they had arrived at the Kuelong Ocean. Before passing by the Kuelong Ocean and heading to the Void Ocean to look for the Player Clan, the Illusion Fish clan had one more thing to do: annihilate the Mu-Tai War Chamber of Commerce, and show their loyalty to the Player Clan. Although they had decided to join the Player Clan, the Illusion Fish clan could not come up with a reliable reason to join the powerful Player Clan. Joining the Player Clan was not a one-sided decision. They had to prove their determination to the Player Clan, and only then would they be completely accepted. After all, the Player Clan was not clear about the Illusion Fish clan's background. They might even mistakenly think that they were sent by the Acheron Merchant Guild. This was also what the higher-ups of the Illusion Fish clan were worried about. If they could not be completely accepted, and were instead guarded against them, it would be extremely disadvantageous to the development of the Illusion Fish clan. Therefore, under such circumstances, the higher-ups of the Illusion Fish clan decided to do something big after a meeting to let the player clan understand their sincerity. Therefore, they set their sights on the Acheron Merchant Guild, which was the closest to the player clan. The Mu-Te War Chamber of Commerce. The Illusion Fish clan had some understanding of this newly rising force. It was considered a new force with a lot of potential. However, compared to them who had occupied the devouring ocean for many years, there was still a huge gap between them. They were not even at the same level. Therefore, they were determined to win this battle. Absolute confidence came from their strength. As they approached Xinmo Island, they slowly emerged from the surface of the water. Their dorsal fins broke through the waves and began to dash forward. At this moment, a figure accompanied by a full moon appeared in the air above the sea surface. He waved his hand and unfurled a scroll as he mumbled something. After that, the waves on the sea surface surged as a large number of illusionary fish clan warriors were blasted into the sky. Seeing this person, Yenmai did not even need to guess to know his identity. Who else could it be other than the president of the Mu-Te War Chamber of Commerce, the Sea King, holding the sea god's pardon that represented the War Chamber of Commerce. This person was also the purpose of his trip. He wanted to take his head to prove his loyalty to the player clan. Thinking of this, Yenmai opened his mouth and let out a long cry. The sound wave was instantly transmitted to the ears of all his clansmen. Suddenly, a large number of Illusion Fish clan warriors leaped out of the water. "Wait! We have no grudges against each other. Why are you attacking us?" Seeing the huge Illusion Fish clan army emerging from the water, the Sea King quickly retracted the sea god's pardon and spoke immediately. However, Yenmai did not want to waste his breath on the Sea King. "Destroy you? Why do I need a reason? It's just the law of the jungle." His figure also rushed out of the water at this moment. The steel spike in his hand flashed a cold light under the moonlight, transforming into countless phantoms that went straight for the Sea King. Seeing this, the Sea King was puzzled, but he still waved his death's light wheel to meet the attack. Clang! Accompanied by the sound of metal clashing, Yenmai was smashed back into the ocean. However, at this moment, several people appeared beside the Sea King. Even the Sea King did not know how they sneaked up to him. At this moment it was too late to dodge. His chest and back were pierced at the same time, and blue blood splattered everywhere. Roar! At this critical moment, the Sea King's death energy exploded in an attempt to send the people around him flying. However, what terrified him was that when the death energy hit the bodies of the people around him, it only caused the scales on their bodies to tremble, and the attack was neutralized. Die! At this moment, a cold laugh was heard. Immediately, the steel spike in the Illusion Fish clan's leader's hand was swung toward the Sea King's neck. Save the king! At this critical moment, Hei Sui and the others arrived and attacked together. They waved a blue stream of light and hit the Illusion Fish clan's leader's body. Facing this attack, the Illusion Fish clan's leader's body sank, and the scales on his body trembled again, quickly dispersing the energy wave that hit his body. Meanwhile, the Sea King seized the opportunity and crashed into the Illusion Fish clan's elder beside him. He forcefully created an opening and rushed out. After rushing out of the encirclement and meeting with Hei Sui and the others, the Sea King turned around angrily and looked at the Illusion Fish clan's leader and elders. "Do we have any grudges?" Hearing this, the Illusion Fish clan's leader, Huan Sha, grinned hideously. "Do I need a reason? I just want to kill you." As he spoke, Huan Sha waved the steel spike in his hand and waved off the blood on it. Hearing this, the Sea King's face turned extremely gloomy. From the previous exchange, he had already realized that he was no match for this person. The bigger problem now was that there were 4 of such experts. If they were to fight them head-on, they would have no chance of winning. At this moment, another 5 people floated up from the water. They were the other 5 Illusion Fish Clan's elders who had yet to attack. At this moment, the Sea King cursed in his heart. 10 experts like this, I'll beat you up. The thought of fighting to the death in his mind was immediately extinguished. Everyone, I think there must be some misunderstanding between us. Moreover, you have to understand that I'm a member of the War Chamber of Commerce appointed by the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce. Please state your intentions. If there really is a misunderstanding, I won't hold it against you. Although he said that he wouldn't hold it against them, the Sea King was already swearing in his heart. How could he not hold it against them when he was covered in wounds? However, the situation was pressing. Facing a battle where he had no chance of winning, the Sea King chose to lower his head. At the same time, he revealed his name as a member of the War Chamber of Commerce. He believed that no matter how strong the enemy was, they would not dare to act rashly under the name of the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce. Huan Sha could not help but laugh when he heard this. I'm sorry, it's because you're a member of the Netherworld Chamber of Commerce that we're going to kill you. As he spoke, Huan Sha's figure slowly turned transparent and blended into the night. Soon, he disappeared on the spot and reappeared beside the Sea King. Bang! The attack was extremely fast, and it was even more traceless when he was in stealth mode. The Sea King was almost hit again. Fortunately, he summoned the Death's Light Wheel in time to block the attack. Seeing that the Sea King was sent flying, Hei Sui and the others immediately roared and threw punches at the approaching figure. Huan Sha's pupils constricted when he saw that. The steel spike in his hand suddenly turned into a phantom, creating countless small wounds on Hei Sui and the others. Stop! Seeing that Hei Sui and the others were injured, the Sea King roared again and hurriedly controlled the full moon to attack Huan Sha. Seeing that the full moon was coming at him, Huan Sha's figure turned transparent again and disappeared on the spot. When he reappeared, he was already behind the Sea King. Die! The steel spike pierced through the Sea King's neck. He could not help but widen his eyes as blood flowed out of his mouth. Immediately, his body became powerless, and he fell from the sky into the water. Seeing this, Hei Sui and the others were extremely sad and angry. They immediately roared and charged at Huan Sha. Since they had followed the Sea King until now, they had gone from dissatisfaction to pride. They had witnessed the rise of this new nation step by step, and the Sea King was the soul of this force. Without the Sea King, there would be no Mu Te Sea nation. Seeing that the Sea King had been killed, they knew that everything was over. All their efforts had gone to waste. Yen take his head. At that moment, Huan Sha let out a long roar. Okay. Yen Mai, who was below, heard this and swam toward the Sea King's corpse. When he got close to the Sea King, Yen Mai immediately swung his steel spike at his neck. He wanted to cut off his head as a greeting gift to the player clan. At that moment, the Sea King, whom he thought was dead, suddenly opened his eyes. He reached out and knocked away the steel fork in Huan Sha's hand. At the same time, he strangled Huan Sha's neck. The Sea King, who had inherited the Death Overlord's power, was not so easy to kill. Although he felt weak at that moment, this kind of injury was not fatal to him. Seeing this, Huan Sha, who was about to kill Hei Sui and the others one by one, suddenly froze. He was sure that the attack had pierced through the Sea King's neck. That was why he could not understand why the Sea King could still move and even fight back. Let's talk. While strangling Yen Mai, the Sea King turned to look at Huan Sha and said in a hoarse voice, "Okay." Huan Sha did not hesitate and chose to agree. In his opinion, anyone could die except for Yen Mai. Yen Mai was the next successor of the clan leader that he had appointed. Yen Mai had a special status. Hearing Huan Sha's agreement, the Sea King held Yen Mai and levitated into the air. However, he was extremely vigilant at that moment. His eyes were constantly observing Huan Sha and the others. Their assassination techniques were so brilliant that the Sea King had a lingering fear in his heart. He was afraid that he would be ambushed again. "Tell me, what's the reason? I don't think we have any grudges, right?" the Sea King said in a hoarse voice as he spat out the blood that was gushing out of his mouth. "Because you are a member of the War Chamber of Commerce. Our purpose of this trip is the War Chamber of Commerce." Hearing this, the Sea King was furious but also extremely puzzled. "Aren't you afraid of the Acheron Chamber of Commerce's revenge? Since we have done it, we are ready to deal with their revenge," Huan Sha said calmly. At the same time, he stared at the Sea King as if he was looking for an opportunity to attack. "Don't move." At that moment the Sea King suddenly roared to the left. At the same time, he tightened his grip on Yen Mai, causing Yen Mai to cough uncontrollably. Hearing the Sea King's roar, He Sui and the others quickly flew to the Sea King's side and looked cautiously to the left. At that moment, a person slowly appeared on the left. Seeing that the ambush had failed, the Illusion Fish Clan elder raised his hands and slowly retreated. "Motherf *Ker, a bunch of scoundrels. Fortunately, I was observant, or else I would have fallen into their trap again. Let go of my clansmen, and the Illusion Fish Clan will admit defeat this time. I promise I will never attack you again." Huan Sha looked at the Sea King in a negotiating tone, as if he understood that the situation was dire. After understanding her history, the players also knew that she was once the Empress of the Nether Sea Nation. At this point, if he chose not to agree, he only had one way out. "It's very simple. I chose to swear my soul oath, so they let me stay." In fact, he also wanted to know why the long-dead Nether Sea Empress would appear in the player clan's territory. His conjecture was that the player family was powerful enough to make the Empress willingly submit to them and stay here. Descendant of Huan Ci, not bad. You have reached a realm that even Huan Ci has never reached. It seems that the Illusion Fish Clan has indeed risen. At this moment, a figure walked through the crowd and stood beside Lu Chai. At this moment, many players could not help but want to rush up and punch Huan Sha in the face to wake him up. Fortunately, the Sea King was not dead. Otherwise, the players would definitely bury Huan Sha with him. No, they would bury the entire Illusion Fish Clan with the sea chive. Offer it with both hands? Isn't this like a thief stealing the vegetables that we painstakingly cultivated and then happily giving it to us as a gift? Shameless. Then do you know that the Sea King's ancestors, the Mu Te Nation, are also part of the ancient Nether Sea Nation? Just like your Illusion Fish Clan? They once served the Empress together. Lu Chai's expression became very strange as he spoke. However, Huan Sha was not sure about this guess. "Haha, alright. We will set off to Xin-Mo Island now. I will bring you back to your clan." Upon hearing this, Huan Sha was slightly taken aback. He then smiled. After all, Huan Sha had come with sincerity this time. Moreover, the ignorant were not guilty. Most importantly, the Sea King was currently safe. Come to think of it, she was also the ancestor of the Sea King. They were both from the Mu Te Nation. Did you say that your Illusion Fish Clan values inheritance? Upon seeing this, Lu Chai quickly opened the live chat channel and started to appease the agitated crowd. Otherwise, he was afraid that these fearless players would directly attack him. However, at this moment, Lu Chai interrupted Huan Sha. Even for a highly popular existence like the Sea King, the word villain had to be added in front of his name. He was still on the opposing side. Moreover, the love-hate relationship between them and the Sea King had never stopped. Insulting each other was a daily occurrence. Looking at Huan Sha's resolute attitude, Lu Chai immediately gave up. Moreover, the sole oaths that they had seen were all about slavery. That was why they felt that Lu Chai's request was too much. "Let's go. I will bring you back to your clan. How is the Sea King now?" However, after the previous soul identification, Huan Sha was now certain that this was the great devil that stirred up trouble in the Nether Sea nation, the Empress herself. Lu Chai thought of how the obedient Wood Spirit clan had changed drastically after coming into contact with the players. Then, he looked at Tong Gua, the Rock Ghost King, and the other rascals eating, drinking, and gambling along the way. Illusory Killer began to ask about the player clan in a roundabout way. He wanted to know more about the big family he was about to join. In this regard, Lu Chai was able to deal with it easily. His words were half true and half false. Huan Sha actually felt a sense of yearning when he heard it. After 2 days of high-speed sailing, the warship that Lu Chai was on entered the Kuelong Ocean and headed towards Shinma Island. As time passed, when Lu Chai's warship approached Exhilarating Island, Illusory Killer became vigilant and prepared for battle. "Don't worry, there won't be any battles. But before that, you'd better disguise yourselves to avoid unnecessary trouble." Lu Chai looked at Huan Sha and said, "Disguise as what?" Huan Sha was stunned when he heard that. "Anything is fine as long as it's not your current form. After all, you have a grudge with the Sea King," Lu Chai said indifferently. Huan Sha nodded when he heard that. The scales on the surface of his body trembled, and his body began to shrink. In the blink of an eye, he turned into a man who looked very similar to Lu Chai but had many differences. When the other 9 Illusion Fish Clan elders saw this, their bodies began to distort and transform as well. They used the players as the blueprint and transformed into different human forms in the blink of an eye. Lu Chai was speechless when he saw this. Although he had learned about the Illusion Fish Clan's abilities from the analysis menu, he was still shocked when he saw them transform with his own eyes. It would be a waste not to be a spy with such abilities. No wonder the Underworld Chamber of Commerce would ask the Illusion Fish Clan to investigate the Mansion of the Dead. "Is this okay?" Huan Sha asked in a deep voice. His tone had also become very similar to Lu Chai's. "No problem." Lu Chai nodded. As the warship that Lu Chai and the others were on approached Exhilarating Island, the guards stationed at the coast of Exhilarating Island immediately noticed them. They immediately relayed the news to the interior of the island. The lord of the Mu Te Si nation, Lan Hushan, was the one who received the news. He immediately asked the guards about the specific situation through the communication com. "Which force's warship is this? Stop it and ask about its purpose." The interior of Exhilarating Island was still in a state of strict defense. Lan Hushan dared not be careless. The sudden attack from the Illusion Fish Clan almost killed the Sea King. If it was not for the Sea King's tenacious vitality, the Mu Te Si nation would have been overturned. Therefore, Lan Hushan was very vigilant against external forces. Moreover, they did not receive any notice of external forces visiting this time. They had to be on guard. At this moment, a subordinate reported from the conch. "Lord Lan, this warship belongs to the player clan. It has visited our Exhilarating Island many times before." Lan Hushan was stunned when he heard this. He was pleasantly surprised. From his point of view, although the player clan was unreliable, they might be able to help them if they came at this time. While the Sea King was injured, he might be wary of other forces, but he would never be wary of the player clan. This was because it had been proven many times that the player clan would always bring them hope in times of crisis. From the earliest founding of the nation to the ambush of the Sea King at the ruins of the Nether Sea Nation to the arrival of the Smoke Dragon fleet, it had been proven countless times that the player clan was on their side. Although the Sea King had never admitted to this, Lan Hushan felt that it was a tacit friendship between them. Therefore, he immediately said, "Stop them. Wait for me. I'll go out and welcome them personally." After instructing his subordinate, Lan Hushan immediately stood up and walked out of his room. He crossed the defensive boundary along the way and headed straight for the coast. Looking at the approaching sea, Huan Sha was very confused. He could not help but ask Lu Chai, "Why didn't they stop you from stopping?" Lu Chai smiled faintly upon hearing this. "Don't worry. You'll understand soon enough. I can't explain it to you right now." Huan Sha suppressed his doubts and nodded. At the same time, he had many speculations in his mind. After sailing for a while, the warship slowly docked at the coast of Xin-Mo Island. Even after Lu Chai and the others alighted from the warship, no one came out to stop them. Not far away, a garrison team merely glanced at them and nodded. They did not do anything drastic. At this moment, Huan Sha was dumbfounded. Even if the Sea King and the player clan were disregarded, the current Mu-Te Sea nation belonged to the Acheron Chamber of Commerce. The player clan, who had repeatedly gone against the Acheron Chamber of Commerce, should be their enemy. What did this tacit nod mean? At this moment, a stream of light came from the island and landed in front of Lu Chai. It was Lan Hushan. "Welcome." After Lan Hushan steadied himself, a smile appeared on his face as he looked at Lu Chai. Upon hearing that, Lu Chai nodded with a smile. "I'm looking for the Sea King. The king is inside. Please." Lan Hushan turned around and gestured for Lu Chai to enter. At this moment, Huan Sha and the 9 Illusion Fish clan elders were dumbfounded. Please? From their point of view, the Mu-Te Sea nation and the player clan were supposed to fight to the death when they met. What did he mean by please? With doubts in mind, they followed Lu Chai into the island under Lan Hushan's lead. Chapter 6:17. The Sea King had many speculations about the player clan in Baiki. However, one thing he was sure of was that there were many secrets in this clan. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to survive until now. However, the secret that Lu Chai mentioned caught him off guard, and he couldn't accept it. The Empress had fallen many years ago, and the nearby seas had changed several dynasties. How could she still be alive? Therefore, the first thought that came to the Sea King's mind was that Lu Chai was joking with him. "You don't believe me?" Lu Chai asked calmly. "No," the Sea King looked doubtful. From the Sea King's point of view, it was unrealistic that the Empress was still alive, let alone joining the player clan. As the creator of a superpower, she was known to be cruel in the versions of stories that circulated in the nearby seas. How could she join a stupid force like the player clan? Not only did it not fit the image, but it also took a lot of effort to do so. It's too fake. Thinking of this, the Sea King immediately said, "Although I really want to know the secret of the player clan, you can't joke around with my ancestor. I advise you to be kind." Lu Chai was speechless. "Believe it or not, I'm not forcing you to believe it." Lu Chai couldn't help but roll his eyes. "Are you looking for a fight?" "Nope." "Then tell me quickly. If the Illusion Fish clan joins the player clan, what do you have to make them serve you forever? Your ancestor, the Empress, is in the player clan. What can he do? I told you that the Illusion Fish clan values inheritance." The Sea King was speechless. At this moment, he felt that Lu Chai really wanted to fight him, and he also had the urge to smash Lu Chai's head. He treated the player clan like fools, and obviously, the player clan thought the same of him. Forget it if you don't want to tell me, but you can bring the Illusion Fish clan back. After a moment of silence, the Sea King suddenly waved his hand impatiently. Lu Chai was surprised to hear this. Aren't you afraid that the Illusion Fish clan will find out about the player clan and destroy us, followed by the Mutesi nation? Even if someone dies, you guys will die first. The Sea King couldn't help but glare. Lu Chai smiled when he heard this. Since you trust us, I can promise you that day won't come. The Sea King waved his hand and said, That's enough. Hurry up and bring those Illusion Fish clansmen away. I'm annoyed to see them. I'll release them. Lu Chai nodded and said no more. He turned around and walked out of the palace. As for the people of the Illusion Fish clan, since the Sea King had promised, he would definitely not go back on his word. He believed in this. As he walked out of the palace, Lu Chai immediately found Huan Sha and the others staring at Lan Hushan. Their faces were filled with displeasure. At this moment, Lan Hushan was openly monitoring Huan Sha and the others.